whatever. So I'm up there, she's feeling for me. So I put together this mystery. It was either mystery or horror in my head that I was concocting with this Super 8. And so I write this mystery. It's not the horror that I did with Jason. It's this silly mystery. She's wearing a trench coat. Somebody, I think, gets unlived. And it just made no sense whatsoever. But it was an excuse to use my Super 8 for a movie. One of like a few I ended up making with this Super 8. Yes, sir, you're not the only one who started with a Super 8. I just didn't have the advantages to become a director. I was too busy working at the notions counter for Dad. No, that's from The Star, a Betty Davis movie. Anyway, oh no, is that from All About Eve? Yeah, it's All About Eve. Anyway, so now I'm thrilled. I'm making movies up in this like no man's land above the flats. And I'm thrilled. I mean, I have the ability. I'm starting to learn how to piece it together, but I'm not editing. Like later on, I learned to edit Super 8, and that was my grad project from high school that gave me honors that 3 teachers walked out on because I had the actress and the actor having intercourse on the sink of the kitchen. But whatever. This was not that kind of movie. I wasn't quite there yet. So I was thrilled because, I mentioned, of course, the other night that I wanted so much to be a director up until, I did that ridiculous application to USC and everything went south, and my career and my family and everything went south, like Antarctica south. But this was, again, it wasn't quite my summer of love, my 1978 summer of love. I had some good times there, birthday party or two. I was, friends with my best friend by then, just barely, because I was 9. 10 was when I moved to the flats. And so I had birthdays, and it was fun, but running around the living room, singing Bette Midler and suntanning on the balcony just really got old after a while. And friends really didn't want to come up to this estate, above West Hollywood. I mean, they did, but it was really like a weird inconvenience. And it was a trek down to my school, Center for Early Education, where everybody went at the time. But the catastrophe, disaster, the tragedy of this whole scenario that really gets me is whatever it was first of all gorgeous. I mean, it's Spanish style, the beams, I told you, gigantic, 3 stories, double plot up in the Swiss shops in the foothills above West Hollywood. The costume designer, who was like hell-bent on getting out of there, why I don't know, offered the option to us to buy this double plot estate in the foothills of West Hollywood, staring straight down and over to Catalina, okay? He was offering it to us for $80,000. $80,000, not 70, not 100. And my knucklehead devil of a stepfather said, well, the plumbing is bad. We're gonna have to redo all the plumbing. Dude, the house is now worth $10 million. What does plumbing have to do with anything? There are plumbers for that, right? You're gonna end up with a $10 million estate. But no, he had to be right about everything. My mother caved all the time, kicking and screaming, which was a daily occurrence, especially when we got to the flats. And we let go of the opportunity. We had a double plot estate being handed to us for, I think, yeah, it was like 87,000 or something. And he turned it down and dragged us into this really plain, like, post-war, I mean, we're still like in a nice area, but it's the flats, as they said. And yeah, I had neighbors and friends and whatever, but oy, the house we moved into was dreary as hell. I mean, they still had like those nooks in the hallway where you sit on the telephone, but not like ooh, cool aesthetic. It's like ooh, tacky. No one ever like covered up the hole, which they should have. Oh yeah, we had a plum tree, big fucking deal. Anyway, so that's where we ended up. We let go of like beyond like that's like beyond the opportunity of a lifetime. I mean that's like you know sheer like only a moron does something like that, right? And drags us down to rent a little house, which my mother ended up handing to my aunt and her kids when she dragged them out from Cleveland to pay her $20 a day to be her indentured servant, her own sister, nothing new to her, so that they could take all of the 37,000 that I had made in commercials from 6 to I don't know 10. Yeah, it was 37,000. My dad took me to the Screen Actors Guild to the finance department and pointed at the number and said, "This is what you have made." And poof, it all went to buy another home in the flats at Fountain in Fairfax, which was not Sunset in Fairfax. And that's where we remain. We went from having lost opportunity into the flats, and then there was another house like 2 streets away that all of a sudden was the golden opportunity that was not the golden opportunity, and they took my 37,000 and put it down on the house, which was worth 60,000. So basically I bought the house. I mean, the mortgage was like $200 a month. But after the divorce, my mom, of course, took out all kinds of loans and remortgaged it, and then it was worth nothing to me when we ended up selling it years and years later, thanks to my husband who took over and got rid of it. So that was backing us up to 75. It was still a wonderful time to be in LA. It just wasn't quite my summer of love yet. That was the flats. This was a kind of a lonely period. And the only thing really kinda that got me through that hovel that they stuck me in with the pins and needles while they enjoyed the lavish bedroom was the Super 8 camera that I had been given at Christmas. And it was kind of a blast. It was my own private, lonely little blast, making those movies. And then my cousin, you know, feeling sorry for me and starring in my first Super 8 mystery. Somebody dies at the end, or she is the killer, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, it was cute, it was fun. And then, like I said, then I continued that. And, you know, my best friend and I actually made a couple too in his house. And that was a blast. They were much better, trust me. Scary, actually. Like the end that he and I did on, like, I don't know, my 4th little movie was really actually scary. As one of those, like, you know, like twist endings. Yeah. So that was a blast. And then we showed it to his mom, and she loved it and whatever. So there you go. Super 8 camera saved me from complete, like, numb brain, dragging me out of Beverly Hills, yanking me out of this fourplex that I grew up in, and stuffing me in this estate, Mr. Latchkey Kid. But thank God I had my Super 8, and I made it through that year, I think we were there, before he dumped it, the golden opportunity, and became my hobby for a while. So, like I said, I applied to USC for their film school program, wrote a horrible essay on an even worse book, and didn't get accepted, and went on with life, right, as we all do. So I hope you enjoyed my little story about being yanked out of the hills of Beverly and put into the Swiss Alps, and my little life-saving Super 8 camera, which really actually sparked my interest in film and in making movies. And like I said, graduated with honors for what started out as a Super 8 camera up on Fairholme Drive. If you want to Google Earth it. It's Fairholme Drive at the top of Fairfax, and you can see the lost opportunity of a lifetime. Okay, you guys, thanks for joining me today, as always. It's been an awkward, kind of crappy day, but I'm here with you now, and I'm feeling better, as usual. And I tell you that all the time, and I mean it. So I love you guys for sharing my stories, and I love sharing them with you. It is the highlight of my day. I am now doing a little better. And what can I say? I'm forever grateful for you guys. So tomorrow's a-coming. I got a stack of stories like this on my counter. I know it's hard to believe that every day of my life was a story, but it was. Okay, I'll let you go. I've kept you too long. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.